students of mine. Like Lisa said, I remember when this organization started 4 years ago, and it was just getting off the ground. And boy, have you taken off. And I'd like to just honor all of those that have given their time and their efforts to deal with our youth throughout the city of New Britain. And you need to applaud yourself. As Lisa said, I've been a coach and a teacher at New Britain High School. This is my 30th year that I've been there, and I know so many people throughout the city. And the best thing about New Britain High School that people don't know about is so many good people came from there. And the way that things are happening across the country today, everybody puts blame on all kinds of things that take place. And I read the paper and I see all of this negative stuff that is being said about the New Britain School District, New Britain High School, whatever. And there's too many good things that happen out of our city for people to down our city. Just look at this group of people that are here today. And look what you've become. From athletes to great cheerleading teams, to great parents, to great grandparents, to great guardians, whomever. You've given your time to help out people in our country that need help. And one of my good friends, good basketball player, who I had the privilege of knowing since he was in 6th grade, Elvin Silva, and I don't even know where Elvin is right now. Where is Elvin at? I had that young man at Slade Middle School when he was in 6th grade. And a few years ago, he was telling me about this vision to start something in the city to help out the youth. And along with Elvin and Lisa, Alex Torres, Bob Scalise, Provy, so many of them put their efforts together in their mind to make a difference in some people's lives. And you've definitely had a great impact on the youth in our city. For people that are not in our city, that came from New Britain, that moved away, and they follow what the Junior Hurricanes have done not only this year, but throughout the past years, it's been incredible. And so many friends that I have that no longer live in New Britain said, what's the story with that Junior Hurricane? What's that all about? And I said, it's like the feeding program for New Britain High School, but it's not all about sports. Yes. It's about education. It's about helping our youth do something that's positive to give them hope and give them dream that one day they can do something in their lives and come back and be productive. Now, a lot of my credit goes to people that are like the ones that you're involved with right now. I grew up, I'm not from New Britain, I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I was raised up here in New Britain after my mother passed away when I was 8 years old. And I was raised by an aunt and uncles and grandmother and grandfather who were the best people in my life. My mother at the age of 18 had 4 kids. And there's no way she's going to make it, or no way I'm going to make it in life without the help of other people. So what happened, my life went through a lot of ups and downs. I had a lot of issues that went on in my life, but one of the main problems I had was my friends all had mothers and fathers. And it took me a long time to grab on to after feeling sorry for myself, you know, it took me to grab on to some people that was going to take my life in another direction. And I am so grateful to have had those type of people in my life. So what did I do? After a pretty difficult time growing up, I ended up writing a book. I had no idea how successful or how powerful my message would be to others growing up. And last year when Lisa invited me to come to speak again, God gave me another direction, and He had me start writing this book to tell my story. And what I did was I shared my life about all of these things that went on in my life that showed the inspiration that I got from others that was going to propel me to another direction. And like I said, when your mother has kids, 4 at 18 years old, the chances of you to survive and do something great in your life is very difficult. Not to say when you move in with another set of relatives, how difficult that's going to be. So along the way, I was inspired by a coach, a teacher, a pastor, ministers, great friends, great parents, friends of my classmates. Everybody kept me floating up. And then I had some downs. This past Monday, I had a chance to visit and be the guest speaker at Manson Youth Institute, a correctional center for young men in Cheshire. They bought my book, over 25, 26 books, in September. And they wanted me to come in to share my story with a lot of those young men that are incarcerated. And the first question one of them asked me was, Coach, as we read your book, we finished the book in September, and you was only able to come in January because I couldn't take a day off of school to go visit, so we had no school on Monday, so I had set this up over a couple of months. But they finished my book in 2 weeks. And all of those young men had similar stories, and there was a football player from Stratford who was the best football player in the city coming up, just like this group of kids that you have in here. He was in 7th grade. Every school wanted him, from Xavier to Bunnell to Ansonia. All of these schools wanted this young man. And he said, Coach, and I felt that I was important because everybody wanted me. But I had no father growing up. All I had was coaches that were important to me, teachers that were important to me. But I went down the wrong road because I chose to follow the wrong crowd. When I read your story and you ran into some trouble when you was in 6th grade, and I said, what happened in 6th grade? Because now I'm testing them to see how well they read my book. He said, you got straight F's on your report card, and you changed all your grades to A's and B's. Mm-hmm. And he said, how did that make you feel when all of your friends found out that you forged your report card? I said, it didn't make me feel as bad as the whooping I got from my aunt, but I did feel pretty bad. And he said, that story alone grabbed me and told me that the things that I was doing in my life were similar to your situation. And he said, how come you never developed a relationship with your father? I said, my father, after having all the kids with my mother, walked out on my mom and left my mom with all 4 of us, and he went out and did his own thing. And I said, so we never really developed a relationship. But he said, that's like, when I was reading your story, it was similar to my story. I was this football star and pee-wee football, and everybody wanted to be around me. And, you know, when I got into situations when things were bad, no one wanted to be my friend. You know, I would go and I would run for 8 touchdowns, and, you know, I would do everything the team asked. But as soon as I got in trouble, everyone wanted to go the other way. Mm-hmm. And he said, and I never woke up because I never grabbed onto coaches and teachers because I always felt that I knew more than them. So I said, was you a good student in the classroom? He said, yeah, I just went through the classes, but I didn't really take advantage of my brains upstairs. That's why I'm in here. And I said, so how long are you in here? And he said, well, I'm 21 years old and I'll be in here for 25 years. So he said, and my story is so bad because I needed someone to grab onto. And when I read about your events and the things that you went through in life and why didn't I get a chance to grab onto somebody? And he said, because I didn't even realize when I was getting used up. And the thing with our youth today, football, this is always a great event. There was a message this year for all of you football players that want to be athletes, that want to be great one day. Even your greatness one day can be stripped right from you. And as long as you score touchdowns and do all of these good things, everybody's in your corner. The ball is full of air. The ball is full of air. But as soon as you stumble just a little bit, the ball gets deflated, and no one wants to be your friend. 2 years ago, the best football player in the National Football League was a running back named Adrian Peterson, MVP, best in the world. His jersey was the #1 selling jersey in the NFL. Everybody wanted to be Adrian Peterson, or everybody wanted to be AP. And all of a sudden, AP stumbled because he was a parent, and his child, in his words, he was trying to discipline his child, but he gave him a spanking or her a spanking in whatever fashion. It didn't matter. It was his child. And he did some wrong. But he was, this year, scheduled to make $11 million. $11,770,000 per game. All of that was taken away from him because of bad decisions. And if you think that's a bad case, how about the other case with Ray Rice? Again, you're football players in here. So if you think what you have right now, and you haven't even touched the surface, if you think you can get away with whatever it is you're doing now by not being obedient to your parents, your guardians, who's ever taken their time for you, in my case, it was my grandmother, who I loved dearly. She was the first angel in my life. You need to wake up and realize that you have people right here in your corner. If they weren't in your corner, this celebration would be empty. But they respect you. You need to respect them, and you need to take advice, because you're never too old to realize that the people that help you along the way are only there to help you. So going back to Ray Rice, he gets in a situation, we talked about Adrian Peterson, now we go to Ray Rice, Super Bowl winner, top running back, makes a mistake, domestic, in an elevator where nobody probably could see or notice what's going on, and it all comes out. Career ruined. 2 players. 2 of the top players in the National Football League. Now everybody's got to do what? Everybody's got to try to forget all of the great stuff that they did, because they all discount that now because they say they're bad people. And they're not bad people. They just were misguided along the way. But once you're used up and your career is over, or you stumble and things happen, nobody wants to be your friend. You're going to be in that situation that you don't need to be in. Some of you, hopefully, will go on to have great careers in whatever it is that you plan to do. And sports is just a vehicle that you use to get somewhere.
That's right.
Don't let the sport use you up. The vision came to me to write a book, and the first thing I said when I decided to write this book, all of my friends and my boys was like, "Am I in the book?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're in the book." And they're like, "What part you putting in there about me?" I'm like, "What part you want me to put in about you?" And then the book comes out, and those friends come to me and they say, "I thought I was in the book." I said, "Did you read it?" "No, but so-and-so read it, and he said my name wasn't in it." I said, "You need to get the book and find your name in there. Are you worthy of being in the book?" What do you want me to tell them about all of this stuff you did? I'm talking about my life, and how I stumbled, and how I got up, and how I stumbled again, and how I got up again. Without parents, but coaches, teachers, all of those important people that all of our youth today have in their lives right now. Parents, if you're having any difficulty, I read on a daily, from the Facebook to the New Britain Herald to whatever, all I see is junior hurricane this, junior hurricane that, which is great. Nationals. Finished 4th in the country, 7th grade team. Not many people get that opportunity. And I am so grateful and thankful for all of those that stay involved with those kids. A lot of coaches out there, ex-football players, basketball players, track runners, you have not only the ability to help these kids along the way, they look at you as role models. Everything you do is put under a microscope. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you treat your wife, the way you treat your... If you don't believe me, just ask your kids. They see everything. At New Britain High School over the past 30 years, I have people that come back to me all the time and say, Coach, thanks for opening up your story. I never knew all of that stuff happened in your life. And just yesterday, I had a young man that's on our current basketball team who just read my book, and he said, Coach, my father walked out on me. And it felt so bad because he gave me everything I needed. When I needed a pair of Jordans, I could go to my father. When I needed this, I can go to my father. But you know what? He's locked up now. He can't help me. I could remember going to his store and seeing all of this bad stuff in there. And all he wanted to do was have me hang out. And he left my mother. And now I'm the father of my household. 16 years old. And I said, but the end is not far away for you, because life is just like a football game. You have a first quarter, a second quarter, a halftime, third quarter, fourth quarter. Some of you youngsters haven't even began your first quarter. You think you began your first quarter, but you haven't began anything yet. What you need to do, chapter 1 in my book talks about just basic manners. Please, thank you, you're welcome. Those little things you need to develop. The second thing you need to develop is every time you're out there in the public, you represent your family in anything you do. If it's a good thing, everybody loves you. When you do something bad, they blame it on your parents because they say your parents are not raising you the right way. Or your guardians, or your grandparents, or your foster parents. How about giving your parents and all of those people some credit by becoming the person that they know you can be? My book is titled Becoming Coach Shaw. The book ends as soon as I graduate from college. The book is over. And it just shows all of the things that I went through to become the person that I am today. I'm no saint. I'm not this best person in the world. I just know that there's so many young people that are hurting today throughout the country that I just wanted to share my story and tell them that you can be successful in doing whatever you want to do in life. All you have to do is put in the effort. I bet you at the beginning of the season, the 7th grade team just had an inkling in them that maybe we can go to the Nationals. And then look what happened. You went all the way to the Nationals. You had the whole city behind you. Everything and anything in your life is possible if you put the effort in it. But always remember, the people that are close to you, you represent them every time you go out. No matter what happens, you represent your family, and with that being in mind, it'll keep you on a level playing field. The playing field is unbalanced. I'm sure I heard about one of the young men on the team whose father grew up 2 doors from me in Corbin Heights. 2 doors. He's about 15 years old, younger than me. 15 years younger than me. And his last name is Yap, and I heard he's one of the stars for the 8th grade team. What is his first name?
Tajay.
Is he here?
Yes.
Oh, Ty, come up here, please. I've never even met this young man. Tajay can come right over here. And the funny thing about his story is his father grew up with me in Corbin Heights. Like I said, he's like 15 years younger than me. And a couple weeks ago, they was talking about the Junior Hurricanes, and they said, we got this great running back. Receiver, whatever you want him to do, he can do. And I don't even know if all of these stories are true, but that's why I brought him up here. And supposedly, he has the choice to go anywhere because everybody's after him. And all I want to say to Tajay and his parents is, you represent your family the right way. You represent the city of New Britain. You are no different than a young man that I had way back that was in the similar age to him, named Bucky Jones. And I heard he won the award.
Yes.
And Bucky was one that they wanted at Aquinas and Berlin and Xavier. They wanted him at all those places. And I said to Bucky, you're a New Britain High kid. You're going to turn the city around and help our youth. And Bucky goes on and he goes on to college, does a great job, goes into the NFL in the first round and becomes a Super Bowl winner with the New England Patriots. The pressure right now is on this young man right here, Tajay, because everyone in the city knows about Tajay. And I think you have a baseball player too, named Wilfredo or William Homar, whose father and I grew up together. And over this Christmas vacation we just had, I was out and I saw Willard and he said, "Coach, I sent my son to New Britain High School like you told me it would be a good choice for him." And he had an apartment available in Berlin and Xavier wanted to do this. And I said, "Will, let me tell you one thing. No matter where your son goes, if you stay on him as a parent, he's going to do a great job." This man right here, winning the Bucky Jones Award, I wanted you to see him with me because one day somebody could be up here talking about Tajay Yap in the same fashion when he goes on to the Super Bowl or whatever. But my dream for him is, don't let people decide what kind of race you need to run. You need to run your own race. Right. Don't worry about other people. My title, Coach Shaw, How I Learned to Run My Own Race without parents. The blessing for you is you have parents and you have this whole Junior Hurricane family.
That's right.
And they're all behind you 100%. And now he's looking like, can I sit back down? And yes, you can sit down.
All right.
So I like to close with this. The issues in the country, black, white, Hispanic, when you're in a place and you grow up in New Britain, we have all of that. We have blacks, we have whites, we have Hispanics, we have everyone. I grew up with friends of every culture, every race. And all of us have been doing great throughout because we remember the foundation that was set for us. And it all started with something like this. Youth. We had midget football. And from the midget football, we didn't have many people that went on to play in the National Football League. Really, we didn't have anyone that went to the National Football League. But last night, I was watching one of the friends that I grew up with since 7th grade, and they were playing basketball. Chicago Bulls were playing against the Washington Wizards, and it was Tom Thibodeau, who we were friends from 7th grade, and I was like, that guy's still doing great. One of these people in here, two of these people, three of these people, you never know what's expected of you out of the world. But one thing you do know is you have people in your life right now, right now, that you need to grab and you need to suck everything out of them because they're only here to help. We all want people from New Britain to be proud, whether it's a young lady, a young man, everyone in New Britain should be supporting the Junior Hurricanes.
That's right.
And I am so glad that I had another opportunity to come and speak up here.
Yes, sir.
But it's all a testament to your hard work that you put into your kids. I wanted to do something for the honor roll people, for people that make the honor roll. I don't know, how many do you think you have, please?
A whole lot.
Yeah, probably more than I had because I wanted to share something with them. But if you could get me a list of some of the people, I'd like to donate one of my books to each one of them and let them know that their life has already started. But there's going to be some peaks and there's going to be some valleys. Everything is never going to be smooth. But when it goes down, you have to decide how you're going to get up. Like this ball that becomes deflated. You have to know how to pump some air back into it and keep your life above. But take advantage of all of these good people that you have surrounding you right now because this is a great situation, and don't do anything in life that's going to embarrass your family because that's what you are, a reflection of them. God bless you and God bless the Junior Hurricanes.